It's time to mind your business with me, Jamila Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you so much.
So, of course, I'm Jamila Lodge, the host of the show, and you are Camily Lovell.
Yes.
Founder, owner of Strange Bird.
Yes.
So, we're going to talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Sure.
But before we do that, if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Sure, absolutely. I appreciate it. It's actually so lovely to be back here. It all got very real for me. So I love it. Thank you so much for inviting me. So as you mentioned, my name is Camily Lovell. I would describe myself as like a multi-passionate person.
Okay.
I have a lot of different passions, a lot of different interests. So by profession, I'm actually an addictions and mental health counselor.
Okay.
So wellness, health has always been important to me. But on the more personal side, I would describe myself as being a creative with a little bit of a nerd somewhere in there.
A perfect combination.
Right. So I think that's kind of where everything really started, right? Like the passion for health wellness, but then that creative side that wanted to do something, wanted to see something, wanted to do some type of experiment or some type of, artistic expression. And I guess through all of those passions and interests,
you settled on Strange Bird.
I settled on Strange Bird.
Okay.
So that's how I would describe me, a multi-passionate person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Strange Bird, first of all, the name.
Yes.
Because people who don't know will be like, well, what
is that?
She's selling birds? What's happening?
You know what? That's a very good point. So, funny enough, Strange Bird has been with me from when I was a kid.
Really?
So, I don't actually get to take credit for it. My mom used to call me a strange bird when I was younger.
Really? That is so cute.
Yeah, I think she saw how unique and borderline peculiar I was as a child.
Borderline peculiar.
Yes.
Because you're not all the way peculiar, just borderline.
Okay. But yeah, there were so many. I think when I was a child, I was very what's the word that I want to use? Like self-determined.
Okay.
There were certain things that I cared about and certain things that I didn't. And that's what she saw in me. Strange bird. So she always used to say, when I used to do something, she'd be like, you're such a strange bird. And then when I was older, and I decided I wanted to start my entrepreneurial journey, I was like, what kind of expresses the individuality that I want, but is also not valuable, but like authentic to me and my history, right? So it was like that was a perfect thing.
I love that. I didn't know that. That's a wonderful story to tell.
Yeah, and for the record, even when I say Strange Bird, there's a part of me that has to smile because it's so different and unique, and it's just like I know the story behind it. So it's definitely very true to my heart.
Yes. It is very unique. And I think that the name itself is cute, and then your logo is super cute as well. So you said you're very creative and all of that. But how did you determine that you wanted to be in the beauty kind of industry? Because you said wellness was important to you as well. Yeah. So was there a period of time, or were you looking for something and you couldn't find it? Or how did that all come about?
That's a really good question, to be honest. And I think it has a lot of different facets and variables that contributed to it. So Strange Bird was my COVID baby.
Okay.
So we can start there.
Right.
A lot of extra time in your hands. And to be honest, I really started out doing candles. But for the record, I hate making candles.
And you figured that out when you started?
No, seriously, it was such a journey. Shout out to anybody that makes candles. Shout out to my best friend, actually, Chelsea of Faithful Fragrance.
Yes,
she makes candles.
Chelsea, that girl.
But yeah, it started off with that. And I was like, no candles. We're not doing candles. But ironically, some of the science, which is the part that really attracted me.
Okay.
One of the parts. Some of the science of candle making is similar to soap.
Got you.
So I transitioned from candles to soap, and then it kind of went from there.
Okay.
So it's interesting that you say beauty brand, because I don't actually identify Strange Bird as a beauty brand at all. No, I actually identify it more as a wellness brand.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
And explain that a little bit to me. So when you say wellness, okay, there's soaps, and then you have other kind of skincare products,
Absolutely.
etc. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Strange Bird is actually a wellness and self-care skincare brand.
Got you.
So the goal is to actually support wellness and self-care initiatives through skincare and through building sustainable self-care routines. So this is kind of what brings in my interest as the mental health professional, right? Because in working in the field, we're always talking about, health is Trump, wellness is Trump. Once again, this was coming out during COVID. What can people do in their simple routines that give them a sense of wholeness and stability and consistency? And then that coupled with my natural desire to create something that was sustainable and as natural as possible.
Okay.
So all of those pieces kind of inform not just why it started, but what makes Strange Bird unique.
Okay.
And why I would identify it as wellness as opposed to beauty. I think beauty has a tendency to be a little bit more aesthetic in terms of the outcomes of using the products, whereas I see it as when people invest in their health and wellness, the aesthetic is the natural outcome of that investment.
Right. So your focus is on mentally setting up a routine, caring for yourself, loving on yourself,
Absolutely.
And then the end result, of course.
And also the key thing with so many skin-related products is that there has to be a level of consistency that you use them to see results.
Okay.
So if I can support people building a self-care routine that fits their schedule, that's simple, that's easy, that meets them where they're at, kind of like therapy, in a way.
Look at that.
Then it increases the likelihood that they're going to be consistent with it, and then through that consistency, they also get results.
All right.
So aesthetic isn't the priority necessarily. It's the
result of having doing
just investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so speaking about that and speaking about the actual products that you produce and all of that. So how, if I'm a consumer and I'm interested in using your products, how do you merge those things together? Because, you go and you see the soap and you're like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. Okay, let me try that.
Right.
So how are you able to put that health and wellness piece in it? Like, do you do workshops? Are we doing like info sessions? Like, what I do first? Do I do this? like, how does it all come together?
So that's once again another great question.
I'm on fire.
You are definitely. It's rough. I think that's probably one of the elements that is still an area of growth for me.
Okay.
Or for the brand, I should say, but for me as well. It's definitely something that, one of the reasons why I really enjoy doing vendors markets, and, I've done Harbor Nights for 3 years now, different Christmas markets, so on and so forth, is because I really do like to engage with my customers and figure out kind of what's the goal of, what you're looking for, and then kind of make recommendations going forward.
Okay.
When it comes to the skincare, between my website and the Instagram, I think in the descriptions, I identify kind of who this is best suited for, or if this is the particular goal. So I have like a dark spot and hyperpigmentation corrector. I have a charcoal one for like detoxing. I have different moisturizer for like healing acne, like speeding up healing time. So each thing kind of has its own role and purpose, and kind of how I've labeled them and promote them. It's kind of specific to what they do. But I think the brand in general, because it's wellness focused and health focused, there's a general sense of trust that I've built with a lot of my audience. That like, if you know kind of the goal that you want, we can direct you to the best product. So I'm not sure if that
It does. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, so you're new to Strange Bird, you're not sure what to do, and understanding your emphasis on health and wellness and setting up that routine is like for someone who doesn't have one. You know what I mean? Like, what I do first,
absolutely.
what happens next, and what is the frequency. But my understanding from you is that you do share some of that information on your Instagram and on your website.
Absolutely. But people usually come to my table at like Harbor Nights of Vendors markets. I say like, you know, do you want the spiel? Do you want the long version? Or are we cutting to the chase? So I usually invite people to kind of share what it is that they're looking for and go from there. And that's one of the things that I really enjoy about, you know, my brand as well. I think a part of the wellness and healing process is also being able to express and get out there and be vulnerable and be open to sharing kind of what's going on and what you want to do. So
see, people don't know when they come see what you're at your booth, they get a mini therapy session. You buy some soap and you get therapy on the side as an added bonus. Look.
That's funny. But in some ways, I think it can be therapeutic. And a lot of my return customers kind of lean into that a bit. And they would share, like, you know, they would send pictures and be like, oh my goodness, look at the results, or thank you so much, this is really working. And I really feel like it feels good when you have those return customers, because then you know that
it's working.
That it's working for them, and they're being consistent. And, you know, so kind of going back to building the routine piece, one of the things that I'm very frank about is I'll tell people, I formulated these things to give you the best results that I can give you. However, you know, you being consistent with it is really what's going to be the make or break, right? None of this stuff is really overnight things, right? But one of the very frank conversations that I have with them up front is, what does your skincare or self-care routine look like right now? And what are you willing to sign up for to be, like, what can you realistically sign up for? If you can only do one step, I'll tell you the one product that you'll get the most benefit from if this is the only thing you can afford to use. If you want to do 3 steps, I'll tell you what 3 steps looks like. So kind of really seeing where people are at and what their availability is for building that routine, and then kind of going from there.
Well, I'm taking notes, and I'm in my head. I'm like, she said you have to be consistent. Consistency is key.
Just building it into a habit.
And I think that's with anything, really. You know what I mean? See, that therapy is paying off right now. We've been doing a little mini session right now. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your brand.
Absolutely.
And now that I know the story behind the name, my question to you is, how important is it for you to be featured sort of as part of your brand? Like, how important to you is that in selling the product and letting people know?
So it's so interesting that you asked that, because, you know, when I first had the Strange Bird idea, let me tell you, it was interesting. And it's funny to look back and see how it's developed, because I was convinced I was going to make this brand like this super anonymous. No one was going to know who Strange Bird was. Like, I was trying to think of all these harebrained ways to keep this allure and mystery, right? And that was actually something that I did want to do. And when I first put it out there, it was kind of like that. But then I think just having to kind of get the brand out there with the vendors markets, I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to a vendors market in a mask. I mean, I know it's like COVID times and we need to wear masks, but if if I'm going to be honest
Yeah.
and, you know, not trying to sound arrogant
Mm-hmm,
or anything
mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
that, but I think that people seeing or having such a gentle and warm introduction to self-care and
Yeah.
wellness is important.
Yeah.
And I think that I have been gifted with the ability to sometimes create those warm and safe environments for people to kind of share what's going on. And while I'm not personally invested in it having to be Camily Lovell's brand,
Yeah.
I think the skill sets that I bring to my customer interactions definitely sets it apart. So it's not so much my name having to be a part of it, but wanting Strange Bird to be immediately associated with safety, warmth, you know, unconditional warm regard, whether or not I'm having employees that are, you know, at vendors markets or storefront or whatever the case may be, that safety and warmth and just acceptance being such an integral piece.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like now that I know how the name came about, now that I understand your background, now that I understand what it is that you're trying to do, that's a huge differentiator, I think, from other brands, right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody has that combination of things to help to be able to propel like what you want this to actually be, and that the fact that you do, it is like these little mini therapy sessions when you come get your stuff.
It can be. It definitely can be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, when we having a Strange Bird retreat? Okay, where's the wellness retreat?
This is it, right? Yeah.
No. So on that note, like, what do you envision Strange Bird to be? Because right now that you are at vendor markets, people can purchase online, right? But you do have a full-time job doing something else.
I do, yeah. Full-time addictions counselor. I consult privately as well. So, yeah, Strange Bird was a hobby. It wasn't entirely a hobby. I definitely started it with the intention of it turning into a brand. But in a perfect world, if I have all the resources that I want, I would actually like for Strange Bird to be like the parent company, and Strange Bird having a product side, and also a services side.
Yeah.
So services getting more into the wellness, you know, stuff like that. But in terms of products, I think I was very borderline overzealous with how I started.
Okay.
And you know, people will come up to me and like, have you considered making a facial wash? Have you considered doing a body scrub? Have you? And I'm like, why not? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
So in terms of products, I don't see myself adding more products than what I have. I think I have a full gamut already. But if anything, more just building the consistency, the availability, the access.
Yeah.
From the product side.
So let's talk about the products. What do we have?
Oh, goodness. I should have bought my inventory.
I know.
No, okay. So there's Strange Bird Body, Strange Bird Face, and then Strange Bird Home.
Okay.
So that's why I said I was clearly not bored, but I had a lot of time and energy. I had a lot of energy. So originally started off with bar soaps, and I loved it because, you know, how I use different natural ingredients to get like the colors, the different fragrances, different additives, scrubs, all sorts of stuff that you can put in bar soap. So there's bar soap, there's body scrub, there's liquid body wash. And then there's whip soap, which is like one of my favorites. It's like a really rich, buttery type soap. It's very nice. So that's in body. And then face, that blew up into something I never saw. I was just doing a face wash, and then it just went wild. So there's face wash, scrub, toner, plant-based moisturizer, hyaluronic acid, which is a moisturizer. Am I missing anything? I don't think I am. I might be. And then I bought in different tools and accessories to be able to use it. So a rechargeable electronic facial scrubber, a silicone one, mini silicone facial scrubbers, facial rollers. So I think that's it for the tools. And then for the home, I do a hand sanitizer. I also do a foot spray, but I mainly do that during winter.
Okay. And what's the foot spray?
The foot spray, it's a antibacterial foot spray that also has aroma benefits. So it really helps decrease bacteria. You can spray it directly on your feet or in your shoes. Okay. And it helps fight odor and bacteria and also give it a nice fragrance.
I need a couple of those. I have 2 men at home that...
Well, I tell people all the time, it's perfect for like a gym bag, stuff like that. And those ones I only use essential oils as well. So that's nice. And then on the home side, I have linen spray and hand sanitizer. And the linen spray, I'm not going to lie, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, right.
You know?
She said if I must say so myself.
But yeah, so it's definite, as you can tell, it's a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That you've been able to make that natural transition. Yeah. And I guess it's organic because people are asking for it. They were like, this is great, but what about? And that's the thing, right? Like building the trust with your customer base. Yeah. And I have so many patient friends or family members that I'm like, I just made this product and I need you to test it. So if your face falls off, I'm sorry. No, it's never that bad. But yeah, I have a lot of support when it comes to that. So I don't release anything unless, it's going through its testing and all sorts of stuff. So it's definitely a process. It's really exciting to hear your journey and how you came to be Strange Bird. But in terms of the challenges, can you point to one that you were just like, I don't know, are we going to keep doing this? Or was it always like once you were in, you're like, well, this is just going to be a thing. We're going to be doing this forever.
Challenges. There are definitely challenges. I think my biggest challenge probably has been myself. Okay. To be honest. And, it's all about personal growth and development, right? There are certain things you don't figure out until you get to that point. That's right. You have to give yourself grace. So definitely have some perfectionist tendencies that get in my way. I would say the biggest challenge that I've had, to be honest, is keeping up with demand when I get it. Okay. There's a part of me that's always very cautious when I start marketing a product because I feel as if there's a lot of integrity and quality with my products. Yes. So when people want it, they want it. And I've had a lot of support along the way, but it's been a one-man show for a long time, for the majority of it. So I think kind of oversubscribing myself could be one of the challenges that I faced.
So do you have plans to expand? Like you said, you have the 3 jobs. So is it your intent to one day do this full time, or do you think that you will always, especially since you described it being like the parent company and then you haven't, because I would imagine you can provide those wellness services under this part here.
Exactly.
And still do the products and stuff.
Yeah. It's so funny because when I was thinking about just the entrepreneurial journey, it definitely all ties in. The plan is definitely to expand. I don't know whether or not it's the perfectionism or the wisdom that's telling me to just plan it as best as I can before I make that move. Yes. There are many instances where I'll tell people, don't plan it, just do it, just start and figure it out along the way. Yes. But I think making that next big step, there's probably just a bit more planning that has to go into it for me. So ideally, I would like for it to be a consistent, well-known brand that services the community. Like that is definitely the goal. But I think while it was small, there were certain logistics that I didn't have to worry about. Right. And as it gets bigger, the logistics become a little bit more complicated. Because the way that my scents work. So my scents are in seasons and my scents don't have titles. So it's kind of like everything has a number. It doesn't have a name. So there's definitely...
And why you do that?
So mental health piece.
Okay.
Some people have very strong ideas about what they think they like and what they think they don't like.
Oh.
And you'd be surprised the amount of people that say, I don't like lavender, or I don't like
florals.
And then you pick up something that has lavender in it, and you're just like, this is amazing. And I'm like, is it no?
That's number 21.
Literally, that's exactly how the conversations go. And there are so many. Strange Bride is a unisex brand. That's actually something that I should mention. So I find that a lot of times titles of scents can be unintentionally gendered.
That is very true.
And
like sweet pea.
Yeah.
And honeysuckle.
Exactly.
Like the dude is like, not so much.
Right. So even when it comes to like my labels and things like that, I try and have things as unisex as possible, have like neutral mute tones. I get into pastels, but still as unisex as possible.
Yes. Yeah. That's interesting because I didn't know that, and you don't really think about that, but it's true. But I like a cute little name.
Everybody does.
Women, I would say, we want that. You know what I mean? That name, but that is so interesting. So they're numbers.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
So there's no names. Okay. But when you think about Chanel No. 5.
Well, that's true.
Right? We don't necessarily.
What's
in
it? What's in it?
What is it?
I don't know. So what number is your biggest seller?
Number 20, by far. I know that right off the top of my head.
Really?
Number
and what is it? A soap? Is it a skin?
So
what is it?
the interesting thing is the scent can be in any of the products that I make.
Okay.
So it could be in a liquid soap, a bar soap, a whip soap, a body scrub. My facial care doesn't have fragrances. I did that intentionally. But anything body or even home, it can be in that scent. Okay. So I have linen spray in 20. I have all the soaps and stuff can be made in that scent. So that's definitely.
Look, I'm gonna have to start requiring when people come here
to bring a little. I'm sorry. You're right.
I'm like.
You're right. I dropped the ball on that one.
I'm like, listen.
One of your coworkers here knows about the linen spray number 20.
Yes, I'm on that. Look, I'm going to the website after this, and I'm gonna be like, let me try this number 20 lemon scent.
So let me just give you the heads up.
Okay.
So the website, once again, something that I did. I'm not all website savvy.
Yes.
So you definitely, it's not like a shopping cart way. It's more just you send a message with your request in it. Or you can shoot me a DM. Works equally as well.
So do you have plans to expand outside of Bermuda at some point?
I've been asked to, but I'm just like, one thing at a time. Ideally, yes. But once again, in order for me to preserve some of the elements of the brand that I would like,
yes,
I can't move super fast. So ideally, yes.
So, okay, let's talk time. Because
time,
I'm like, so like in 2 years, 3 years.
Wow.
Years.
Wow. Whoa. I have a number of different ventures going even with my full-time career.
Okay.
So I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
And look, I don't want to put no pressure on you.
No.
But it's hearing the story, hearing what you're doing, how you're doing it, I think it's super unique. I think it'll be something that other people outside of Bermuda will respond well to. But like you said, sometimes you just got to plan it out.
Absolutely. I think that when certain other pieces are put together, when I make the jump, I see it limitless.
Okay.
Right? But yeah, right now I'm doing the best with what I have because I'm overwhelmed now. So yeah.
Well, you don't look it. So the wellness part is working.
The self-care routine.
Yes, it's working. So listen, we, believe it or not, we are at the bottom of our little 30 minutes time slot. But I do want to give you an opportunity to share I don't know, some 3 things that you would encourage someone to do if they were considering entrepreneurship.
Yeah, no, that's good. 3 things. Okay. The first thing that I will say is that competition doesn't exist. And I say that respectfully, because as long as you are being your most authentic self, you can never be repeated. So if you are a part of your brand, do not worry about competition or what may feel like competition. Right? So just go in confident as possible. As reasonably expected. For Bermudians, I would say take it, and this is not a paid advertisement or plug-in. This is genuinely my experience. BDC is the best resource on this island. I would not have had nearly the amount of success that I've had. So definitely connect.
I didn't know she was going to say that, y'all. So
Seriously. And then another thing would probably be that for me, this is like one of my personal mottos, that perfectionism can almost mask itself as efficiency. Right? So when you find that you're too bogged down by the details and, well, this has to be this and this has to be this, it's important to kind of take a step back. And sometimes you have to let things not be 100%. Right? Like 1% better is always going to be good enough. Your best is always going to be good enough. So even if things don't go perfectly, they still have value and they still have worth, and it's still worth doing. So, and get a mentor. And go to counseling, get therapy. Seriously, everybody should have therapy. It doesn't have to be me. But prioritize mental health. Because this is stressful.
It's important.
It's stressful, right? And when you do get criticism, which you will get, it's hard to separate your product from you. So that's definitely something that I would really recommend people to take seriously.
All right. Well, thank you, girl, for
Of course. Oh, one
wisdom.
last thing. Sorry. I thought about this. I was like, this is one thing that I do want to say. And this is a very honest nugget. This is not soft or nice, maybe, but this is the biggest lesson that I had to learn. And my sister, bless her heart, she's the one that taught me, and I'm forever grateful. She prepped me really well. She was like, Camily, just because you like making soap, that doesn't necessarily mean that you like entrepreneurship.
That's very true.
You know, if you really, really like making a product and you want to sell it, that's one thing. But to get into entrepreneurship, that's completely different. I am not just the creator of the products, but I also do the marketing, the bookkeeping, the social media management, which is a little rough right now. You know, so recognizing it's so much bigger than just doing something that you like. It's a lot to it. So use BDC, mentors, and stuff like that, and really ask yourself, do I want to be a business owner? Or do I want to make a product that I like and sell it? Because they're a little bit different.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. Wise words.
Thank you so much. I know I'm a little over time.
No, that's okay. But how can people reach you if they're interested in?
Yeah, awesome. So I can be reached at www.strangebirdbermuda.com. And on Instagram, strange.bird.bermuda.
Okay. Well, wonderful. Camily, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.
With us today. I really enjoyed having the conversation with you.
It was so much fun.
And now I know some stuff I didn't know before. And now I got to go find this linen spray. And the shoe bacteria spray. Yes. Is it in season?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
I'm starting it now.
All right. Well, you got 2 orders already. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamila Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.